Well, folks, I hate to break it to you, but Robert Kiyosaki was definitely right about one thing, and that is that savers are losers. Now, let's just be clear. Robert Kiyosaki did not mean that people who are savers are like losers, like you're a loser, man. It's more like they are losing in the game of money. And in what Robert Kiyosaki says is that in the 1970s, Nixon took us off the gold standard, and thus we are able to create our own money, and debt became money, or money became debt. And he's absolutely right about that. The thing that I guess I have my own philosophy. So I was talking to my Aunt Pam the other day, and we were talking about the year that I was born, or around when I was born in the early 1980s. So in the 1980s, this is really interesting. So so she was trying to get a home loan, and she could not find anything for less than 15%. As you know, right now we're at record low interest rates. It's in the ones and twos. So can you imagine having a mortgage with a 15% mortgage loan? I mean, that I don't know how people paid it off. So in the year 1984, the average CD rate, which is a certificate deposit, which is FDIC insured and completely safe, you cannot lose your money. The average CD rate hovered right around 12%. 12% is great because right now in the stock market, if you were to put it in the Russell, Dow Jones, S&P, what have you, you're looking at an average rate of return period, like for a long period of time, year over year, historically, you're looking at about 10%. It usually ranges between 8 and 12%, but we have our crashes, our dips, our ups, and all those things. But you're looking at an average return of 10%. So in 1984, it was 12%. And this is the stock market. Stock market. So we're looking at 10%. And in 1984, 12% beat the stock market. This is what savers could do. Savers could get a 12% return completely safe. Capitalism is a little bit different. They want you investing in the stock market. So by 1989, the average rate of a return on a CD was 8%. So somewhere around 1985 is when savers became losers. So we had the ability to save and get a 12% rate of return, and then the stock market was at 10%, but 5 years later, the average rate of return was less than the historical return of the stock market. This is very interesting stuff. One of the things that people talk about is the rate of inflation. So inflation is typically at 3%. Now here's the deal about inflation. Inflation is not all across the board, okay? Some things are higher, some things are lower. The problem with the higher ones is that they are essentially the necessities. So we're talking about like college loans, health care, car payments. Those are incredibly inflated, way above 3%. So you're looking at college, medical. The cost of housing is exorbitant because the interest rates are so low. Housing. And so these are absolute necessities, am I right? So these are like your biggest bills that we're looking at right now. The ones that have lower inflation are like food. So food in the 1980s, we spend a much smaller percentage. The prices are more expensive, but we spend a much smaller percentage of our income on our food expenses. However, those statistics do not include dining out. So the culture has changed. Who do you think was in charge of changing the culture? Could it be the media? I don't know. But our food prices are down, but dining out is up. So what people spent on dining out back in the day was probably about the same, but it was much less because they went out so much less frequently than we do at this point. So food back then, you were looking at 25 to 30% of your take-home pay. Now you're looking at about 10 to 15%. When it comes to dining out, you're looking at something really, really small, like 5%, right? But right now, it's actually more expensive I don't even know where to put the arrow. It's actually more expensive than what we pay for. We pay more for dining out now than we do for food at home. So these have gone up. This has gone down, but we are pretty much taught to dine out and to have our luxuries. The cost of clothing way down in comparison to percentages of our take-home pay. So you can go to Walmart and get a t-shirt for $10. Well, in the early 1980s, 40 years ago, a shirt was $10 at Walmart. It was like the same price, except, you were making a lot less money, but the price compared to what we take home now is the percentage rates are much, much lower than our actual take-home pay. One of the problems that we have is that we are very stubborn. We cannot fight our own culture. It's as simple as that. We cannot fight it. We have to submit to what opportunities we have and we are able to accomplish with what we are giving. So doing the best you can with what you've got. Okay, so right now, housing is currently rising at a rate of 12%. Okay, but these are pretty unseen. I mean, my house doubled in value in 1 year. To me, that is incredibly insane. So if you're looking to be an investor, the housing or the stock market are your best bets. Now, the stock market over time is 10% and housing is 12%. Now, there's a difference. There's a few main differences between housing. First of all, housing is not a liquid asset. So you have to prepare the house if you want to get rid of it, you have to prepare the house for sale. You have to find buyers. You have to work with a real estate agent. So you're looking for a better rate of return if you're using it as a rental and you plan on selling it in the future. You're gonna probably break even with the stock market. However, the stock market is extremely volatile, as you know. It has huge ups and huge downs, and if you get out of the stock market at the wrong time, you're looking at like a pretty bad situation. But if you get out at the right time, you're looking at this 10% rate of return. The difference between the stock market and housing is that this is liquid. You can pretty much sell it in the same day that you bought it if you want, which is why we have day traders, right? So this is liquid, but this you cannot touch. These are just numbers on a screen. This, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can go lick the side of your house if you want, taste it. That's all I could think of. You could smell it. But sorry, I lost my camera for a second there. But that's the main difference between housing and stock market. These are your best possible rates of return. One is liquid, one is not. This one requires more work, this one does not. So you have to deal with tenants, you have to deal with cleaning issues, repairs, upkeep, and maintenance. With the stock market, there's no maintenance or upkeep, and you don't have to deal with lousy tenants. If you all have better ideas of what you can do for investments other than housing and stock market, a lot of people say land, but to be honest with you, land isn't really as valuable as a house, and your rate of return is not going to be anywhere between 10 and 12% unless you hold it onto it for your entire lifetime. Buy it for $4,000, but if it's raw land, I'll be honest with you, if it's raw land, unless you get super lucky and some commercial site wants to come and build on your land and offer you hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not really looking at a huge rate of return. But if you do have other options, other ideas as to where you can make these rates of return over a long period of time, please leave those in the comments below. Also, go ahead and check out my ebook on Amazon on how to live on almost nothing. I will leave a link in the description below. And don't forget, folks, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are right. My boy sleeping again? Oh, hi. Hi, Mr. Cutie. Hi, Mr. Cutie Pants. Hi. Oh, I love you too. I love you too. You're my boy. Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you, my sweet mister. Everybody wants their Rocky cameo. We all know half the people who watch my channel are just here for you. They're just here for you. Yes, because they think you're adorable with these big droopy lips in your paw gramming, and you're holding hands. Yes, and your cute little ears that just got cleaned at the vet, and we had to put Rocky into
a deep sleep to get your ears clean because you attacked the vet, didn't you? Didn't you, Mr. Attack Vetter? Mr. Vet Attacker. My little, look at that smile. Here's a smile for you. We got smiles all over the place. Yes. My sweet boy. My sweet boy.